Hey everybody, how to do front disc brakes. If you don't have a tire iron like this, and it's going on there on the, what is that, 13/16 side, it also comes with a cheap, crappy little one that you use for the jack. This is all I have for a jack. I found a nice cross member to put it under. Before I jack it up anymore though, you want to make sure and loosen these first, because once it's in the air you won't be able to loosen them. I'm going to actually use a air tool, so I'll be right back when I got it up in the air and the lug nuts off. So I'm going to loosen them now. I'm going to jack it up, then I'm going to take them all the way off once it's jacked up, and you only need like a 1/4 inch. I'll show you, I'll come back then. Okay, so I have it jacked up a little bit. I don't know if you can tell, but it's just my hand can fit under there. That's about all the further you have to go. And of course I loosen these up. You can see there's some crazy pitting in the brakes. So I got rotors too. So it's rotors and front disc brakes. Alright, now we can see the brake pads. They're extremely small inside there. Those are the calipers. This part here that it holds the pads in, that comes out after these pins, holding pins, come out. And they're in a bunch of different ways, but these ones have just these little, I've already bent them a little bit, I don't know, steel, like staples. It's about the size of a staple. So I'm going to take those out, and then I'm going to pull these out, and then we're going to go to the back and do the 2 bolts that you need to take to remove this whole assembly. Alright, so stick with me. Alright, so I have those pins out. Oops, sorry about that. I have those pins out. This is kind of fiddly, but this comes out next, and you just kind of squeeze it, take it out of there. Now, with these pads and these calipers, you'll never get the pads out. God, these pads are so bad. Just wait till the dog's done getting tortured over there. So what you got to do to release them is you get a screwdriver in there like that, and you just kind of push back on them. And I can't really film and do it at the same time, so I'll like relieve some pressure, get these calipers back a little bit on both sides, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Alright, you can see I got one side worked back away, and it's actually pretty loose right now. And I could take it right out, but you want to put a screwdriver or something in there and then start working on this one. And then once I get this one loose, I'm just going to pull them out. And you know, you do want to try to push these calipers back in as far as you possibly can, because you're going to have to with the C-clamp anyway to get the new brake pads in, because they're thick. We've used up all the material. So that's kind of the tricky part, is getting those calipers back. Right now I have the pads that I can take them out real easy. One thing you want to do is make sure you know what side went where. They both could look identical, but I like to just remember it in a certain way. And so I'll put that one on that side. That one on that side. Look at how bad that is. Jesus. And that way, when I put them back on, I know that one is the right side, and then that one is the left side. So I gotta get these, I'm gonna get these screws back here now. Would be, hopefully this is getting on camera, this bolt right here, and this bolt right here. We've got to get those 2 off, and once we do, we're gonna put the whole assembly right here so we can get off the rotor. And I'll try to show you that. So I'll take out these 2 bolts. You really don't need to see a guy taking out bolts, but it's this one and this one. Those are the only 2 you need to take out. I can't see what I'm filming right now. So that one and that one. and then this whole assembly will come off. Now I'm using the one that was over here, brake pad, old brake pad, to shove in between there. You get yourself one of these big C-clamps and you shove it on those calipers there. And then I'm just going to tighten this down. I'm going to do that on both sides till the calipers are all the way pressed in. And then I'm going to set it right there on that. Alright, I got it pressed in as far as they can go. Now I'm just going to pick it up and set it right there like I keep saying over and over and over again. Alright, the rotor's not going to want to come off easy. You're going to want to use a big mallet like that. Give it some taps and it'll eventually come free for you. Alright, after bashing on it with the sledgehammer, it finally came off. It's over here. That's the old one. That's the new one. You want to kind of make sure they match up, the bolt patterns and everything. And then I got a can of gas right there, some paper towels. You're just going to want to get this little gas on there and wipe all that down. They have like grease and oil on that before you put it back on. And then all you have to do is slide it on those bolts to get it back on. That's that easy. Clean it up, then slide it on the bolts, and I'll come back when I'm there. Right, doesn't that look way better? One thing I like to do before I put the brakes back on is on the bottom, put one of your lugs, and that'll kind of keep the rotor from jiggling all over when you're trying to do it. Now it's just hand tight. Now it's good. Yeah, so that's how I'm holding up that caliper. The stinking brake line is metal and it doesn't want to flex or go anywhere, so figure that out, huh? Okay, I gotta get that on there before it falls. Alright, I got it back on there. Now I'm just gonna take those, let's see, 17 millimeter, I believe. Yep, 17 millimeter caliper bolts. Put a little grease on them. Stick them back in there, and then we'll get to the brake pads. So this is the brake pad that my wife said it just started going bad. That the indicator deal that grinds is actually above, so it was grinding the whole time. You can see on that indicator we got a long way to go. I got this side brake pad in already. I want to put in the other one, then we're going to put those pins in and all the little doodads and the tire back on, and that's how you replace a brake and a rotor. Once you get both brake pads in just like that, you put that stupid fiddly thing back in the holes. It's pretty self-explanatory. And then you take these pins that you had before, first thing we took out, you slide them through, and then you put those staples back on, and I'll come back when I do that. Alright, I've got those pins back in all the way across. They go through, you can see it, maybe if it focuses, it goes like that. Now really all I have to do is put on the tire, which I'm gonna do, and then tighten it up, and then once you lower it all the way to the ground, tighten them again. If you have a torque wrench, use that. It'll tell you in your manual what foot-pounds it should be to. I just have a 100 PSI compressor, so it won't be over torqued. So that's it. That's how you do it. Well, thanks for watching. One other thing, once you're done with all that, pump the brakes. Get in there and pump them a bunch. You shouldn't have to mess with the brake fluid. That's one thing. If your brake fluid is low, it's probably because your brake pads are low. Don't add brake fluid. if you have low brake fluid, either have a problem or your brake pads are thin, and once you put big ones in and you pressure it back up, it'll raise the level. So pump your brakes a bunch of times before you try to drive. If I can do it, you can do it, as my buddy Jay Nell says. Hope you liked it. Take it easy.